mental health has been a big part of my life for the past couple years with just my own mental health and like my family and my friends. I think that mental health is a part of who everybody is. I take my mental health very seriously, especially like during college, because most kids in college don't realize like how much of an impact mental health can have on like your grades and your social standings and things like that. I try to take care of my mental health so that I can take care of others as well, because you can't take care of others if you're not mentally complete. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that if you're struggling, that you shouldn't be helping other people. You need to focus on yourself and make it so that your mental health is grade A, so that you can teach others on how to help them as well. So I've been trying to do that the last couple of years. So yeah, I normally, for taking care of myself, I like to journal. I journal almost every night. I try to, but sometimes school gets in the way. I really like to journal. That helps me like get all my thoughts down and condense so I know like if I'm doing well or not. I also really like to read. Reading is like a nice pastime. Like it helps you focus on other things. Walks are really nice. That helps you clear your head. And being outside really does help. Like people say that and you're like, "Okay, yeah," but, like, it actually does really help, like, the fresh air and the sun, like, really can, like, boost your mood, and then, like, I like to be with friends and family, things like that, and I also use the services on campus, so the counseling center is a very big part. I have been going to the Let's Talk, the Bell Let's Talk, if you know what that is. I've been going to those since my freshman year. Those have really helped me, and then the last semester I started going to actual counseling on campus. So I have a counselor, we meet, I've seen the psychiatrist, all things like that really help. And then I'm also a COPE intern in the counseling center and we run programs. So every Wednesday we have a tea talk. So kids from all over campus can come and we sit down and we just like talk about our weeks and things that are bothering us and things like that. And we have little programs that we do every Wednesday. Like last week, I think we did like coloring, like just like things like that. But yeah, like things like that really help me. And I hope they're helping other people as well. So my freshman year, I heard about Let's Talk, and they come. I'm pretty sure now it's once a week. They come. I think it's Mondays. They'll just be like they used to be in Johnson, so they would just be in one of our halls, and you could just come in, and they have counselors on site that are like ready to talk. So they're like licensed mental health therapists and things like that. You can go in and sit down. They're about like 15 to 20 minutes, so it's not too long, but enough for like it's not like a whole counseling session. So like if you have something that's really bothering you, you can sit down and talk to them about it. And then they give you advice, they listen to you because a lot of people on campus like really just want like an outside source to listen to them and to like understand what they're going through because not everybody is comfortable talking to their friends. So that's a really good option for people that are like introverted and like really need to like express how they're feeling. So that's mostly what Let's Talk is. I feel like it's a give and pull, like a pull and take type of a thing. Some days I don't think about it at all. I'm like doing other stuff or I'm really preoccupied. And then some days I can see like, oh, maybe I should work on my mental health today, like things like that. I feel like I don't have so much of a routine for it. I just kind of like feel it out most days. Like some days I'll wake up in the morning and be like, oh, today is not my day. Like I need like or like I'll make a counseling session for that day or things like that. But it's normally just like I feel like I don't know, like I just kind of feel it out and see like it's normally like every week I do like take time to myself to like because I have a counseling session every Wednesday. So I do like think about my mental health like on a day-to-day basis, but it's not so much of me sitting down and saying like, "Oh, how's my mental health today?" It's more of like how I feel. Um but yeah, it's like I think about it like every day in like other ways, I guess. I started struggling with my mental health in high school because it was like a new environment and I was making new friends and things like that. So I struggled for a couple years and then my friends were like, maybe you should go to a counselor, maybe you should reach out and get help. And I was like, well, there is that stigma around mental health where it's like you shouldn't ask for help, like you shouldn't have to do that. So I was like kind of like worried about it. And then eventually I went and it actually really did help. And I started like getting resources for me to like put my feelings down, like journaling. Like that was something that I learned that really could help me. Like, so my counselors in high school were giving me outside resources for me to like develop my mental health into like where it is now. And then when I got to college, I realized how big of the stigma it really is, especially on a college campus, and no one's talking about it. So I started getting involved, and that's when I started doing Let's Talk, and I started seeing all the resources that we actually do have on campus. And I was like, wow, like we actually do have a lot. And I was like, that's crazy that no one knows about it. Like I didn't even know that we had all those resources. So I started using those. It's more of just like a give and take, like I said. Like some days my mental health's good, some days it's not. But I'm trying to get it like perfect where it should be, but it is like a give and take type of a thing. I've had my days. Obviously, everyone has their days. Sometimes it's worse than others, but I try to, if one day I'm feeling really terrible, I'll call a friend or I'll take a walk, things like that. So yeah, I it's been a journey, but I am actually loving where I am right now. I feel like people think that it's gonna take like a year. Like there's no timeline on when your mental health is going to get great or bad. It just really depends on the person and the resources that you have. I do like that we are talking about the stigma more. I feel like everyone had this way of thinking about mental health as if like those people are crazy, like, they have, like, an out like, things like that, and I was like, "That's just not true." Like, everyone has mental health issues, whether you want to admit it or not, no one's perfect, and I feel like the stigma is, like, wearing down, like, I feel like it is getting better. Um, it's just more of especially men's mental health, which is a very big issue. A lot of men, like, don't wanna seek help because it views them as weak or fragile, but in reality, like, we are all the same, like, men and women or, like, whatever you are, like, it doesn't matter what you are, we all have mental health issues, and I feel like breaking down the stigma, it really is something that needs to happen because like, even on college campuses, it gets pretty bad, and kids are like, "Oh, well, like, I'm fine," like, I'm like, "No, you need to go see somebody," and I feel like therapy is like, something that people look down on because it's like, "Oh, well, like, you're talking to this random person, they don't know you," but, like, in reality, like, that helps because then you have an unbiased opinion, and I feel like everyone should go to therapy at least once and try it out and see how it actually is because you never know if you're gonna like it until you do it. So, I feel like therapy is, like, something that everyone needs to go to. So we have a gym on our campus and they have programs every week. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them every week that you can just come to. It's free, like through your tuition. Well, you do pay for it, but it is through your tuition. Um, we have yoga, there's Zumba, there's mindful meditation. We have things like that. There's like quiet hour. You can like sit and like meditate with other people. We have things like that that really help. We have a place called Rice Creek, and last weekend we actually had a program through the counseling center. Um, it's a really nice trail. It's like a trail. There's like a waterfall and stuff, and we did like watercolor painting and journaling and bulleting and things like that. We have programs like that when it's like warm out. And then when it gets like a little bit colder, we have like inside things. So like tea talk is one of those things. Or we have therapy dogs. Like we have things like that. And then like everything in the counseling center. So we have actual counseling, therapy, we have psychiatry, we have like grief sessions, group therapy, there's like a whole load of things that are like on our counseling center website that we can go through and see like what works best for you. And there's things you can bring friends to as well because a lot of people get nervous going to things by themselves because they have anxiety and things like that. So we have like that's why we have like group grief therapy and things like that. Definitely create a good support system. So first you have to have like a good support system. And if you don't, then another option is definitely going to the counseling center. It can be a little scary, but they are really nice in there. They will help you through the whole process. They will make sure that there's a counselor that fits you. Like, even if you don't connect with your first counselor, there's a whole bunch of other ones that you can meet and see if you get along with them and like talk it out. Um, I would say mostly go to the counseling center. It is a really good resource for everybody on campus, and you do pay for it, so you might as well take advantage of it too. So yeah, but things like that. There's also like the Mary Walker Health Center is where our counseling center is. And there's also like health screenings and stuff in there. You can take like surveys and like see like where you fit on that chart. So like if you do have like if you have been to counseling before, like there are like things like that that you can like send in, so they know your history, things like that. Yeah, the counseling center is a really good resource. The first appointment, normally you have to fill out like a sheet on your phone. It's just like background questions. If you've gone to counseling before, if you have any mental health history, if your family has any mental health history, like genetics, things like that. And then when you sit down and actually meet your counselor, you'll just talk normally for the first like 10 minutes, getting to know each other. And then they'll ask you if you have any like issues that brought you to counseling, um, things like that. And then the conversation just starts flowing nicely. Like if you have something that you really like need to get off your chest, like they're there to listen to you. But the first session is normally just like conversing back and forth to see how good of a fit your counselor actually is for you, because not everybody connects on that level, and that's fine. That's completely fine. And they understand that. So you could tell them like, "Hey, I'm not really feeling like this connection is the greatest. Is there anybody else I could talk to?" And they're more than understanding about it. They understand that not everybody's like that, and they can refer you to another one. Or if you do really get along, then the conversation seems to be flowing nice, and they understand like why you're there. You can tell them things like that. And then they just ask you questions about the sheet that you filled out prior to that first session. So they'll ask you about your family history, things like that. But yeah, it's normally just like a normal hour conversation that you would have like with it's a random person. So they're just trying better to get to know you. I'm really glad that we're doing this and trying to break down the stigma. I'm really hoping that this makes it to the right places and really like helps people start going and like caring about their mental health more.